What's going on, everybody? Brandon T. Adams here, CEO of KBET Holdings, investor, advisor, producer, and this is going to be a keynote. And this is a keynote that I gave at one of our past Rise and Record events, all around never giving up. The Rise and Record keynotes that I give are always the most powerful, the most inspirational, that get your attention and really make you motivated to go do something. And so that's what this is, the Rise and Record keynote. And so let's see for yourself. Let me know what you think after you watch it.
Okay, so this next speaker, when I lost hope in Brandon and his dreams, I was pulling him away from his calling and his vision because he no longer had that support that drives him. And I felt that. I felt how much pain he was in, that his own wife didn't believe he could achieve what he felt he was called to do. I remember just being so ashamed that he was giving everything we had to create this vision that I just couldn't get behind. It took us a long time to come back into alignment where I believed in him and trusted that he was going to accomplish what he set out to do. He is someone who has made an impact on my life and on so many others. He has never given up on his calling for helping other people. No matter how much he was struggling internally, he always took the time to pour into others to make sure they were being pushed and living with intention. I've seen him at his lowest, and I've celebrated his biggest wins. No matter what he was going through, he kept his word, and to be able to see him living his true calling this week makes my heart so happy. He told me 8 years ago that one day he would impact people from all around the world, and I'm just so proud of him. For never giving up his dream, because this week he has proven that dreams do come true. He's a friend, a leader, an inspiration, and has a true heart of believing in others. He is also a 2-time Emmy Award-winning producer, TV host, media expert, investor, and advisor. He is the founder of Accelerant Media Group, which produces commercials, social media content, and TV shows that inspire and motivate others. Please, everyone, stand up and welcome your co-host and the inspiration behind Rise and Record, Brandon T. Adams.
Come on! Let's take it home today! Come on, clap! Let's do it! Come on! Come on! I want to hear it! I want everybody in here to hear it! I want to take it home! Take it home! Let's do this! Come on! Woo! Let's do this! Come on! Hey! Hey! Let's go! Let's go! Come on! Let's do it! Come on! Yeah! And you feel that energy! Woo! Hey, hey, hey! Woo! Hey! That's better than any intro I could ever ask for. Thank you, God. You know, that was very powerful. I'm going to start this a little different than I normally do a talk. I'm glad we didn't play the video. I wanted to just go right into this. I'm going to start with this question that changed my life. It is, what is success? What does success mean to you? For money, for relationships, for impact, fulfillment, your career, your loved ones. What is your version of success? Because what I've found out is once you figure out what success means to you, it's a lot easier to get there. I've traveled the country. I've interviewed homeless to billionaires to movie stars to some of the most interesting people in the world. And after doing that, I've learned the key component to it, to achieving success, is figuring out what success means to you, not anybody else, you. Not your parents, not your friends, your colleagues. What does it mean to you? Because once you figure that out, it's going to be much easier to get there. I found out at an early age that I wanted to impact people's lives. Success to me is speaking on this stage today. Success to me is my beautiful wife, who makes me so happy. It fulfills me and makes me a better person. Success to me is my family. That's Jackson and Jordan, my niece and nephew, the closest thing I have to kids. I believe it's my duty to become the most successful person I can be, to show them what's possible, to give them the ability to learn how to be great people, to influence them. Success to me is my relationships, my family. I show this picture. This is like my mastermind group. It's on our wedding day here in Nashville, almost exactly 4 years ago. 4 years ago. Wow. James Whitaker, Kevin Harrington, John Shan, the crew, basically people that have made an impact in my life. Success to me is creating video content. I've given my heart and soul to it. I've spent so much time, money, and energy to create videos, to impact people's lives, and this is where I wore the Live to Grind hat back in the day. Success to me is mastering my craft and using my talents to help as many people as possible. I believe we are given the gift. Everybody has a gift in life, and you need to use that talent to help as many people as possible. And I believe it's your duty to become the best. Otherwise, you are wasting God's given gift, whatever it is for you. And I knew early on that I want to be the best at creating video content. I knew I wanted to do the best at communicating message, empower and impact people's lives, and growing people through the power of video. And the day that we won Emmy Awards was a day where I have that moment of life flashes before your eyes, of everything you went through, the car repos, the losing it all, to relationships lost, father not talking to you, being almost bankrupt, and then you sit there and realize all the sacrifices were worth it. And I want to share that moment with you just now, and I want you to think about what is your own Emmy in your own life.
And the second award for category 22 religion program goes to...
This one goes to Sean Vea, Brandon Adams, Samantha Rawson, Mike Silvestri, Carlos Mendina from Vea Visuals, Orlando, Daytona Beach, Florida for Against All Odds, the Shea Hillenbrand story.
Thank you to Shea Hillenbrand for allowing us to tell a story, going from a two-time All-Star playing for the Red Sox to helping kids all over the country. Thank you to Sean, Vela Visuals, and Mike and Carlos, our whole team, my beautiful wife, traveling the country, hotel to hotel, everything she's done, to my parents, her parents. Wow, this is a dream come true. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Let's give a round of applause for the team that helped make that happen. They're in this audience right now. Sean Velo's not here. Carlos, my wife. I want to make a mention to Mike. Can you stand up? Mike Silvestri. This guy, most people don't realize what he sacrificed to support the dream for this, for Samantha and I. He has been such an impact in my life, and he believed in me. And yes, he's an Emmy Award winner as well. But he was there to help build this, to help create this. You know, any great thing that's ever created, you don't do it alone. You do it with a team, with collaboration, the dream team. And that's what made this a reality. And I have this acronym, TRAIN, how to train for success. Take a picture of this. I live my life off this every day. How to train for success. The first one is take action. You make shit happen. I challenge everybody. Everybody in this room has probably been challenged by me, and it won't be the last time. I challenge you because I push you to become the greatest. And sometimes I'm let down. Sometimes I feel maybe I'm pushing them too much. But I want them to become the best version of themselves, and I want them to take action. So when you leave here today, don't go home, be lazy, and do nothing with it. I want you to do something. I want you to take action. I want you to invest in yourself. I want you to be around the right people. I want you to do whatever it takes to be successful and never give up in the process. Ours, relationships, build your inner circle. Whether you join masterminds, you invest in other people. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. I've always moved to where I needed to go. Growing up in a small town of 700, I knew I had to leave that mindset to go somewhere where I could think bigger. Add value. The more value you give to the world, the more you get back in return. And it's not just money. It's fulfillment. It's opportunities. Add massive value. Whatever your talent is, do whatever it takes to be the best at it and add massive value to your friends, to your husband, to your wife, to your kids, to your clients. to anybody you come in contact with. When you order a coffee, smile, give them a tip, ask them how their day's going, add massive value. The next one's investing. Investing in you, in your body, your mind, your soul, in your business. I'm investing every single day. The more you invest, the more return you will get. And the most important part is you must never give up. As I stand here today, from losing everything, being literally almost bankrupt, everything stripped from me, my parents not talking to me, and feeling so alone, now I've built it all back up because I never gave up. Don't you ever fucking quit. Because there will be times, there will be obstacles, but as Samantha said, that makes you into who you are. Your mess is your message. So this is me from Garnavillo, Iowa. Who's heard of Garnavillo? Yes, small town, 700 people, surrounded by cornfields and hog barns. Every time I go home, I run around the town. It's 3.2 miles, I know it. And around the whole town, and that's going in and out too. And so that's where I'm from, a small town. And I grew up in the ice business. Can you guys picture me in that suit, that outfit, blue by the way, and delivering ice? I was delivering ice to convenience stores, bars, restaurants, you name it. And yes, I can sell ice to an Eskimo. And yes, I have a cool job, because when I was in the back of the truck, you wouldn't believe how many people said, "You got a cool job, kid." Then I got old after a while because I heard it 10 times a day. But where things really changed for me is I read the book Think and You're Rich. That book completely changed how I thought. Anything I take away from that I could share with you is, 1, you never give up. 2, surround yourself with the right people, because if you're in the right energy, like we're in here, does energy feel high? When you're around that, it allows you to perform at your highest level. And as I read this book, I didn't have any money. I was drinking all the time, smoking, 1.68 GPA in college, and just doing some crazy stuff. Actually, I got kicked out of the dorm rooms. I had a knife pulled on me in the dorm rooms. They told me to leave. You're distracting people, because I was fighting. And I read this book, and it changed how I thought. It completely changed everything for me. Big takeaway, specialized knowledge. What is your specialized knowledge? Mine was crowdfunding early on. Well, first it was ice. I knew how to sell ice, and then I knew how to raise money, and then I learned how to use video to grow business, and then from there I excelled further. But I used my specialized knowledge to get me into opportunities. Next one's persistence, always being persistent. You know, most sales happen between the 7th and 19th time you approach somebody. Most opportunities happen after consistently hearing no. Simon Leslie said in the Elite Day that he just got a big deal, big contract after 25 no's. Persistence is key. Mentorship, getting the right mentors. I have multiple coaches. I have multiple masterminds I'm in. Not only do I do masterminds, but I invest in others. I invest in other people, because I know I got to grow. Having the dream team, having the right people around you to support you, and then investing in yourself and your future. And that led to me eventually creating the being a part of the movie Think and Grow Rich Legacy. That was one of the first 21 I read it. 26 I was featured in the movie. And that was a cool first experience of how never giving up and pursuing something can allow you to achieve something. When I saw on the big screen, it was actually the day before I'd proposed to Samantha. The next day we did the premiere. And as we watched this film and me on the screen, I actually talked about the power of love. And it was Samantha I was talking about. It was so cool to see that your thoughts can become a reality when you actually put the action in. And so this is my first mentor, Cactus Jack Behringer. I've talked about a couple times. He's a cowboy, famous inventor. Early on, I knew he could help me with my inventions, so I hired him, and I knew he would get me to Kevin Harrington. I'll never forget dropping 10 grand. And there, by the way, it was no credit card. It was cash. I remember this very specifically because I had to go raise the money. I believed in it. I believed in mentorship. I went to the bank, got $10,000 cash. I handed it to him in his place in Ames, Iowa, and he counted it out, and I'll never forget how good it felt. How great it felt. Because I fucking invested in my future. My friends and family thought it was stupid, it was a scam, but I knew deep down that this was gonna be invested in myself in a future, and that's where I just kept moving forward. And what I learned from Cactus Jack Behringer is, it's not done until it's overdone. So when I do things, I do it until it's overdone. I go above and beyond. I go all out. Hey, you do 5 calls, do 10 calls. 20 emails, do 30. Create 2 videos, create 5 videos. Always go, do more, because the more you do, the more you get back in return. And that was one of the first lessons I learned from that mentor. And my first endeavor that I did that was like kind of finding my way was I invented this product called Arctic Stick. So I knew with the ice business that I wanted to make more money. I was only tapped out. I could only deliver to so far. Because I was at one point managing the whole state of Iowa, 8 distribution centers, 52 employees, had a 10 or 11, $12 million territory. And I saw what it was like to be at the top of the ice business in there. And I thought, that's all I can make? And I knew I had to grow. So what I did is I invented a product where I knew I could sell it across the world. And that's where Arctic Stick came. That was my first invention that I took to become a reality. Patents, trademarks, you name it. I have the piece of papers to show it. But that endeavor never made me more than the money I put into it. I invested over 100 grand. I got maybe 10,000 back. But the lesson from that made me millions. Because while doing crowdfunding, sometimes in life when you go after something, maybe that one specific thing won't make the money back, but the less you learn will make you way more money. When you know that, there is no failure. And so that invention led me to crowdfunding. And I got into helping people raise money. And that is what led me further into doing podcasting. I wanted to build a brand. Back in 2013, I didn't call it brand building. I called it marketing myself. I started a podcast show and traveled the country and interviewed people around success. And what I did is I literally would go to their office. I would say, I'm going to interview you. I would set up this mic system. This was our apartment in downtown Des Moines. Pretty sketchy. This is a setup. I remember that was a Lewis Howes, like paper, 100,000 downloads, I said, or something. And then there's my computer, there's my Arctic Stick, there's me interviewing. And when people tell me reasons why they can't do something, I just call it bullshit. Because I don't got time for it. Either you figure it out or you make an excuse. And I started getting little wins. I remember when we hit top 50 most innovative new podcasts on iTunes. I was a big win. I was in Columbus. And I'm like, yes, my podcast show is getting up there. And it's funny because people will make reasons why they can't do something, why they can't make connections, why they can't go to events. And I tell the story of how I would sleep in my truck. In 2015, I slept in my truck probably 40 or 50 nights. I would go interview people. I would sleep in the back of my truck. I once did a trip to LA and back. It was a 9-day trip under $700. I ate canned food and $5 footlongs. And I negotiated, this is the best, I negotiated a deal. First thing, I negotiated to get into this place to learn how to get on TV. I took this whole seminar, 5 days on how to get on TV, and I know how to do it. It's very easy now. But while doing that, I didn't have any money for the hotel. Even when I did, I wanted to spend it on Facebook ads back then. So I obviously work out every day. That's one big part of my brain, just focusing. I went to the LA Fitness Center off of Vine Street in Hollywood. Anybody know where that's at? Yes. Well, tell them this. It's funny. I was with the founder here a few months back, but I would park in the parking lot and sleep there at night. And then I would wake up early. I would go to the gym and work out. And by the way, I negotiated. I said I was going to be moving there. They gave me a free week pass. So I'd wake up early, work out, shower so I don't stink, go to my truck, and then go to my event for the day, come back, and then record some podcast intros. I did it all. I did the notes, everything. I was doing 2 a week, then I did 3 a week. And I exported in GarageBand, Command B, you know what that is? You guys, if you know, you know. You're cutting and pasting and exporting. But I made it work. When people say they can't go to an event, they can't do this. I slept in my truck because I was committed. I'll never forget when I woke up to a security guard knocking on the door on my window. And he's like, what are you doing? Oh, all right, I just had to sleep here a little bit. Like, how committed are you? And I remember going on TV around the country. And my parents said, are you getting paid to go on TV? I said, no, I'm building a brand. I went on like 40 or 50 morning shows in 2015 because I wanted to get myself out there. I wanted to get that clip that you can use in your marketing. And so I started going TV around the country. And then it led to me getting some more wins. I got on the cover of Vetter's Digest. And how that came about, I'll tell you, is I had a great story. It was somebody that interviewed me. John Lee Dumas said before, like at the end of the show, what I did great was I'd say, hey, here's where I am. How can I help you? I said that. The guy said, oh, well, I have Inventor's Digest. Maybe we'll do a story on you. I followed up right away. And this is the power of photos and video assets. I had a whole folder of them. And I had like stories and everything. Within like 5 hours, I sent all that to them. Because when you make life easy for any kind of news outlet and do their job for them, put it on a platter, they're going to use it. And they did. They took this photo that I invested in a professional Photoshop or a photo shoot, and they put me on the cover of Inventor's Digest. Cost me nothing. I'll never forget when I was in Arizona, and they said, hey, you just got on the cover of Inventor's Digest. Do you want a plaque? I'm like, what? And then I looked. I'm like, holy shit. I made the cover of Inventor's Digest, a national magazine. That thing, by the way, I was on the inside cover for the reorder for 4 years. That cost me nothing. I don't know what you could put a price on that, 6 figures. But I was finding these little wins along the way. And then I met this guy named John Lee Dumas of Entrepreneurs on Fire. And he had this idea for a freedom journal. I took on the project. I asked him for no money. I said, I will do all this for you. I'll help you have a success. Just tell people about me and have me on your podcast show. He said yes. 5 months later, we raised $453,000 in 33 days. We made it the 5th largest crowdfunding campaign in history for a book. We built 3 schools for Pencils of Promise, and then went on to do another campaign. We did over $1 million combined with everything. Raised money for a cause, and then right there was all of a sudden my overnight success. And no, he didn't pay me, but he had me on his show. 2 listeners on the first time I went on the show led to $50,000 in revenue. I've been on the show 4 times now. The only other people I think that have been on the show 4 times is Tony Robbins. And I built a relationship with a great guy who now was speaking on our stage today and providing massive value to you. I was playing the long game. But what happened is I built a testimonial, an experience, and then when I had my opportunity to invest in Kevin, I wanted to show value, and I actually got him to pitch me. He pitched me because I had already hired Kevin to speak at my event. I had an opportunity for a 20-minute car ride with him to an event, and I took it, a moment's notice. I got on a plane, went there, and in the conversation, we talked about what we did, but I nonchalantly talked about how I helped this guy named John Lee Dumas raise $500,000 a month for a book, knowing that he was going to say, can you do that for me? Which he did. So I think we could probably do something. And by the end of that deal, I signed an agreement and got paid, and we did put a Shark in Your Tank together. And so I was starting to find my success. He came, spoke at my event. We ended up Cactus Shack, full circle. There's Kevin Harrington. And it led to this. By the way, that's Ken Shamrock, for you guys don't know. You guys look at the guy doing a noogie. That's, you know who Ken Shamrock is? The most dangerous man in the world. We got Ken Shamrock there, John Lee Dumas, Jeff Hoffman, Kevin Harrington, Caleb Maddox, all these people. That was a cool moment because I remember the stage when it was all done. It's like, oh, I had this idea in my head, and we created this event that now still lives on today. I sold my ownership in it, but it still lives on today, and it's helping people. Again, because I never gave up. And where my story kind of changed here, where it led me into TV, is I met this guy named Greg Roulette. Greg was a guy that had produced content, but he had this TV show idea called Ambitious Adventures. It was travel in the country, interviewing entrepreneurs all over the country. He shot a pilot. He showed it to me. The pilot was all right. He wasn't great, but he was a pilot. And he said, if you help me raise money for this, I will make you my co-host. And here we are filming a masterclass, and we ended up doing this partnership and this deal. Fast forward, we interviewed some of the greatest people in the world, interesting people. Now, Jake Paul, anybody know who Jake Paul is? He used to be the YouTuber and Bizarre Vark, but now he's a fighter and he's doing all kinds of things. Lewis Howes, School of Greatness. Jack Canfield, Chicken Soup for the Soul. We started interviewing amazing people. And I was starting to build my relationships, building my connection, but getting my experience in the TV realm. And then we created Ambitious Adventures that released Amazon Prime. I'll never forget when we got the Emmy nomination, but we never won the Emmy. It pissed me off. But I was determined to win. And then transition, when we got done with the show, Greg didn't want to do another season because he had another kid that was coming and everything else. And I wanted to keep going. I was committed. I'm all in. And then this is where Samantha and I were on the beach in Puerto Rico. This is not the beach picture, but this is in Puerto Rico. And we asked ourselves, what are we going to do next? We said, we're going to travel the country. And then I said, let's create a TV show on it. Fast forward, we did it. We came back from Puerto Rico. How many's ever had an idea on a beach? Like, you talk about it, have a few drinks, but they never do anything with it? Well, I didn't want to be that guy. As soon as we got home, we started brainstorming the cities. We started filming content. We started planning ahead. We were executing. We were going after our dream. And this video is a teaser of what the show is.
What is success? Some people say it's making a lot of money, or coming up with that one great idea. But what if it's something more?
Success is nothing that can be handed to you. It's something that you have to earn through your own hard work, perseverance, and dedication.
I would have to say success to me means finding your purpose.
To me, to have success is to feel diligent and passionate about what you're doing and to create a greater good.
Success to me is being at peace and fulfilling your passion and having that align with your personality.
I think success is being happy while still going after your dreams.
What if success is something more? What if it's helping others find their purpose? That's what we're here to find out.
My name is Brandon, and this is my fiance, Samantha.
We have one goal: to define what it means to be a success in work, in life, and in love.
This is the pilot we shot after our first episode that we did. We used this for promotion, but this was a journey. The whole question is, what is success? We created a whole show around this. We created a book, Emmy Award-winning show. This whole question became everything we focused on. And I want to share what we've learned. And so we were in Scottsdale, Arizona, and we were with Shay Hillenbrand, and Samantha had mentioned before with Shay, $20 million in the bank, two-time All-Star, top of his game, and he was unhappy with what he was doing. He wanted to make a transition. He left. Sorry, I don't know if you guys can fix that. That's going crazy. He left the game of baseball, and he bought a zoo. He bought a zoo, and within 3 years, he lost everything. His wife left him. He was living out of his van, and he was homeless, and he took a bunch of pills, and he wanted to end his own life. And he said he woke up, and he believed God saved him, and he made a change. He made a change in his life. He ended up finding the love of his life. And they transitioned and become a public speaker, now doing real estate. What we learned from him is it doesn't matter necessarily if you have all the money in the world, you may not be happy. Are you fulfilled with what you're actually doing? While there, we were actually giving back, and we raised almost $40,000 for the Boys and Girls Club to support the kids. And so that was our first city that we went to. Then here, we went to Austin, Texas, a real estate team that started out of a closet. Literally, imagine who started out of a closet before, or office. Anybody? Rodney? Livy? No, I said Rodney. Livy. Rodney Livy. Jefferson? Started out of his closet, and he built a real estate empire that went from doing nothing to doing over $100 million a year. And then one of the largest real estate teams in the country, and they're giving back. And the picture we had before was a home that we renovated. And what I learned from that is giving time to others. We gave time to an elderly couple, and the lady said to us, Melba, that this is the best day of my life. Not because we renovated the whole home, but it's because we cared and we committed and we gave them the time of day. And then we went to Boston, Massachusetts, and David France, guy that was homeless, literally homeless, sleeping behind an aquarium. We filmed where he was sleeping. And he was busking at night, playing violin by the subway to make enough money to go towards his dream of creating an orchestra from nothing. He got instruments donated. He got people to donate their time. And he was so willing, committed to his dream, that he would sleep on the street versus paying rent to create his orchestra, which he did, and he became a success. This is This is actually where the Boston Massacre happened. Exactly. That's where that video is, or that photo. But we learned you can do a lot with a little. That you can do a lot with a little. And Samantha really got inspired by that. And what we did is we went home, we sold our house, we sold 99% of our things. I sold a family business that I had been in the family for 33 years. I sold an event business, and we went all in on achieving success through creating success in your city. This is us, and literally when we sold this, we got in our Tahoe and drove away, and first thought, what the fuck did we just do? But we were committed. We went to Denver, Colorado, went to the next city. This is where we featured Samantha's story and other women who are using fitness to empower others. And this was a really fun just summer that we spent. Then we went to Nashville. This is Phaedra LeGros. She plays on Broadway. She had the dream of coming to Broadway and playing. Her teacher said, no, you'll never be anything. Why are you wasting your talent? You're wasting by going to become a musician. Well, she made it a reality. And this is her. We were actually with her filming while she was in recording studio. And so she found her own success. And we ended up doing the wedding. This is us filming. Some people in this room were there. It's a cool experience. There's me with a Canon 300, me filming the wedding. It's a really memorable experience. And we ended up creating the show Success in Your City. And that whole story I just told you, we literally just had an idea. It was an idea on a beach. And we executed. If you guys ever want anything in life, you're going to have to execute. You're going to have to take action. You're going to make sacrifices. And I'm going to throw to you, what is the price you're willing to pay for your success? Because there's always a price. Jefferson shared it, the prices he had to pay. Every speaker shared it. Ralph shared it earlier, the price he had to pay. Cutting his own hair, going bald. What is the price you're willing to pay for your success? I'm serious about this. What is your price you're going to pay? What are you going to do to commit to your vision? How are you going to achieve it? We did that, and that's why we had a success in our own way. So this is what I learned about why video is so powerful. It's the best way to tell a story. It allows you to build trust with others. It gains more attention on social media. You can see it. You can feel it. And you look at just the power in itself and your story. Your story could change the world. As Samantha shared here, her story. Who had an emotional impact by that? Yes, powerful. She's been inspired. It's going to make you want to do more. Want to help other people. That's the power of a story. And you look at storytelling. We've been sharing stories for thousands of years. Look at the Bible. What is the Bible? It is full of stories. You look at Napoleon Hill. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, the mind can achieve. He interviewed thousands of people and told stories. And now it's sold over 130 million copies. You look at Martin Luther King. He had a dream. And when he had a dream, everybody listening had a dream too. So they could connect with that. He was telling stories through his public speaking. You look at Steve Jobs, who has an Apple product. Yes. I hate it when I can't airdrop to somebody. Jefferson. But look what he did. He was a great communicator. He told stories. His product launches, they were the greatest success because he told stories. And people heard them. They believed in it and they bought. I tell stories. I tell stories all day. And how I answer questions. And how I tell stories on stage and video. Because storytelling is the most powerful thing. This is why Rise and Record is all about rising up and sharing your story. Because it is so powerful. People buy into you and your story. They buy into you, all of you. When I make buying decisions, yes, I want the result to solve the problem, but I buy from people I like, I see them as good people, and I can relate with. People buy into you and your story. And I want to share some stories here. I'm going to share some stories of people that made an impact in my life and stories that are beyond me that can help you and think in different ways. The first one is, this is my father, Randy S. Adams. Let's thank Randy. Give him a round of applause for raising me. I love you, Dad. I'll show him this eventually. He was a big inspiration for me. He worked his ass off. He did everything he could to create a family for us. And this is where he started. He had a lunch wagon. And this is him cooking hash browns and everything. And he was literally, there's the payphone on there. Yeah, that's my grandpa. But how he made his living was selling food, selling burgers and all kinds of things. And he called his lunch wagon. That's how he started. And then this is us. He had the opportunity to get in the ice business. And he worked for a guy, and he was helping him do the ice business. He started out, and he started hustling and building up accounts. And then one day my dad said he knew he didn't want to build that guy's dream. He wanted to build his own. He said, either you sell me the business or I'm leaving. You can do it yourself. The guy sold him the business, and that was 1987. I was born in 1989. So I've been a part of the ice business a long time. This is me. I still have that ice truck. It's in my closet somewhere. That's me in front. There's my brother and sister and my mom and dad. This is us in the ice business. And one of my dreams early on, do you ever have in kindergarten, they said, draw a picture of who you want to be when you grow up? I drew a picture of the ice truck. I drew a picture of my dad and I, and with the ice bags in our head. This is my first visualization. I didn't know I was doing it, but I said, I knew I wanted to be in the ice business with Dad, and then I eventually did. I went into business with him after college, and then I ended up buying the business from him. This was my success back then, and I made it a rally. Well, September 18th, 2011. Look at that. And go full circle now. This is my dad in June when we were at the Rise and Record Mastermind in Iowa. And the most beautiful thing about the people that go to the Iowa Mastermind is you get to meet my father. You get to meet my dad. He cooks us food. He tells stories. He's funny. And I tell Dad, okay now, don't get too crazy. But this was us. This is an iconic photo. Thank you, Jeff Autumn. Did you shoot this? Yes. Thank you. This is a memorable one. I actually gave it to my father, a framed photo. But this is full circle for me because I sold the ice business and I got out, and it's very hard. I was crying when I talked to my father and said, I need to leave this business. And it was hard. I mean, it was harder because even when I went to sell it, I was too leveraged out. I almost had to bankrupt the business that my dad started 33 years ago. You want to know how fucking bad that hurt? And good news is I ended up selling to my best friends. When I sold it, the bank took all the money. But I learned so much from it. And now I'm pretty sure my dad's proud of me up here today. It took a while because we didn't talk for months. I'll never forget when it was hard. You ever have a loved one that doesn't talk to you and it was your fault? But now full circle, my dad and I have a great relationship. He's my best friend. And now he gets to be a part of the masterminds I do. What's Randy like? Pretty good? So Randy Adams, what I learned from my father is customer service and going above and beyond for your customers. And I do that today. You know, when we were in the ice business, 70% of your revenue is between Labor Day or Memorial Day and Labor Day because we're in Northeast Iowa. In winter, it's cold. You don't sell any ice. And so you either make it in the summer or it's going to be sucky in the winter. And so during the holidays, what we're known for, on the 4th of July, that 7-day period, we'd sell hundreds of tons of ice. And so what we did is we made sure nobody ever ran out of ice, because if they ran out of ice, that means they would lose out on an opportunity for revenue. So we made sure I was in the truck at 10. I mean, there's hours, by the way. I have a Class A CDL. There's actually rules now. You can't drive past 10 hours or something. I was driving 15 hours a day. I was breaking every rule. At 17 years old, I was in an ice truck all over when you couldn't drive until you were 21. But I had to get that work in. I went above and beyond for my customers, and that's what I learned from my father. For you, how are you going above and beyond for your clientele? How are you providing massive value? Not only helping them with what they're doing, but you're creating a great experience. That's what I took away from my father, and that's what I do in my business today. Greg Roulette, well, I learned from Greg. Greg was a rapper. This is him rapping around the country. And before he was going to go on tour, literally the day before, his two bandmates, as JLD would say, they cowered out, and they didn't want to do it. He invested money in merchandise, trailer, everything. And so there he was, living with his in-laws on the couch, wondering what he was going to do next. He made a pivot, and he became a marketer. He wrote copy. He's one of the greatest copywriters I know. He was my mentor early on. He still is my mentor and be in front of the camera, creating content, multi-purposing content. I'm so grateful he's like my brother. He would be here, but it was his 40th birthday yesterday or the day before, and so he had to celebrate that back home. No hard feelings there, Greg. But he was a rapper, and he went on, and I share this picture because this is him. They had DNA Agency, and very successful business, doing over $10 million a year. And they do every year a summit at the Roosevelt Hotel. And this is him rapping in front of all their high-end clients. It's funny how life can go full circle sometimes, from rapping around the country, probably making $100 here and there, to now making a lot of money, millions of dollars, and rapping in front of an audience like this. And he made a transition, and he never gave up. I learned from Greg the power of video marketing and having your own TV show. Without Greg, I would have probably not gotten into TV. He gave me the opportunity. I took action with it. And then that TV show led to another TV show, led to another TV show, and eventually we started getting our groove and really understand how to tell stories through video. And then James Whitaker. Who knows James in here? Yes. Oh, yes. James Whitaker is a great guy. He's an Australian guy. He was an officiant for our wedding. It's so funny. Like, some people are like, what do you say? But he was the best officiant. But James, this is us on the red carpet with Barbara Corkin. We helped produce the movie. Most people don't know that, well, for one, his dad's super successful. You see the cover in the magazine, that's James, the little kid, the helmet. His dad sold 2 or 3 million copies of a book, Money Made Simple, I believe it's called. He's super famous in Australia. And so he grew up in that family. He learned from his father at a young age what it took to be a success in business. But he was always afraid. He had being in public and speaking in front of people, he would get just so nervous, and it was so bad for him that he couldn't even work at a store because he would just get this feeling of that he can't be around people. And that was one thing that held him back early on, not being able to public speak, just getting anxiety all the time. And his mom told him, you don't need these drugs. You can really, deep inside, you can figure out how to overcome this. And he did. He started putting himself out of his comfort zone. He started getting on TV. This is him in Boston. And then he spoke in front of his whole college for graduation. And he went on to become not only a best-selling author of 5 or 6 books, that's in 5 or 6 languages. He is a producer. He's getting paid to speak. What I learned from James is win the day every day. One thing you can do to win the day. How are you winning the day every day in your life? What's that one win you can have? It doesn't have to, it could be a little win. Win the day every day. And then Rob Angel. Who knows Rob Angel? You guys ever play Pictionary? So he created Pictionary. He created that game that we talk about how that game, so many people share how they had experience and memories around that game. He didn't realize how powerful that game could be for other people. That game, by the way, sold over 50 million. It's one of the most sold games of all time. They made a lot of money with that game. But they started, literally, their beers right there. See the beers? This is in a garage, 3 guys putting the games together, drinking beers, and shipping them out. That's how they started. That's how they started. And they built a multi-million-dollar empire. And he retired, I think, 20 years ago. And he said even when he sold out, he had more than enough money. The thing he did that I have massive respect for is some people sell companies or athletes, make a lot of money. He never had to work again. He had so many diversified investments in Starbucks and other companies where when he wants to go play, he just cashes out some stock and then uses that for play. He's been able to make money, not actually work. He does some fun stuff in speaking. But he started out of a garage with an idea for a game, Pictionary. And what did he do? He executed. He never gave up. So here's a video of him and I at his place playing Pictionary. By the way, before I did this video, I never played Pictionary in my life. But this is us playing Pictionary. And this is an example of experiential videos. When you're doing things with people, with high-level people, create a video, post it on social media, association. But this is me with Rob Angel.
Go. Letter, big picture, stamp. Boom.
There you go.
There you go. Here's the deal. It's not what you draw, It's the fact that you're drawing. That's what I learned about Pictionary, right? You got to get in the game. You can't just make a picture. You've actually got to put the pencil to paper and start, because otherwise it's just a dream, it's an idea, it's a word. You've got to start. And the fact that we just put pencil to paper is what you have to do.
So this is the inventor of Pictionary, Rob Angel. Be sure to follow Rob on social media and stay tuned. He may be speaking at your next event.
Yes, I will.
He's a good guy. Let's give Rob a round of applause. Next person, Jeff Hoffman. Became a mentor, a friend. We've worked together. This is us at Field Day. And we went there, by the way, we have the record. We were there to do for a charity raise, but we have the record for football thrown out of a helicopter and caught by a professional football player. And Devin Funchess is his name. I think I'm getting that right. And Rob Gronkowski had the previous record. And so think about this, though. It was in a Denver Broncos stadium. A helicopter way up in the air. I can't remember. John, do you remember how high it was? 700 feet. You were in the helicopter, right?
I was down on the ground helping.
Okay, so 750 feet in the air. And by the way, we were down to like 3 footballs. We went through a couple hundred, we're running out of fuel. Because when you drop it down, you got to remember, in the last second, what would happen, the players, it would like come down and all of a sudden it'd go this way. And so they had to really time it. And we're down the last few, and Devin Funchess caught it. There was a whole documentary on sports and the sports channel. And he caught it, and then we beat the world record. I have the football, one of the footballs that we're using signed. So that was us on that. And Jeff Hoffman, just a story of a guy that said, I want to see the world. I want to visit 50 countries in my life. And he put on his mirror, I want to travel the world. I want to see the world. And he was a software engineer. He didn't know how he was going to do it. And one day he left his job, basically told his boss to F himself. And he had this dream to travel the world. And when you put things out into the world and you talk about it and think about it, you start thinking of ways of getting it. You start thinking of the possibilities. And that's what he did. And he created those kiosks at airports that print those things out for you. Do you guys ever use a kiosk? Yeah? Well, he created that. And what did that job do, that technology? Allowed him to travel the world on somebody else's dime to install these kiosks at different airports. And went on to create Priceline.com with other people. Booking.com. They made a little money. And he built a massive site that allows him to travel. That I don't know how many billion the site is worth. But when it came public, it was one of the, today, the fastest growing public companies. I think went from nothing to like $70 in a short period of time. And he made multiple millionaires, all part of the company, because they gave stock to everybody. Even the person on the front desk, heck, the janitorial team, like everybody got stock. And so they built a massive company. And he got into film. You know, somebody told him that he could never, you're a software engineer. You're never going to be able to get into film. Why are you going to Hollywood? He said, well, we'll try. I'm an entrepreneur. He got Eli Roth with the script and the idea, and he created Cabin Fever. Who's seen Cabin Fever? Cabin Fever is a great film. They only spent like 1.2 million, and they created this, and everybody said he would fail. But it's funny because they went on to do over 100 million in revenue from a $1.2 million project that was from a software engineer. It doesn't matter if you're from the Hollywood. If you know the right people to put in place, you can achieve anything. He wanted to travel the world. He wanted to become a Hollywood producer. And he did it because he knew that's something he wanted. He went after it. He never gave up, and he achieved it. And this is us last year, showing the documentary Red Flags of Samantha's life. And then we went on to win Emmy Awards together. And this is, I'm going to show you an example. Everything I do is about giving back, raising for great causes. And this is a video from, I'm on a board with Jeff for World Youth Horizons. And Jefferson here has donated money. I've donated money. There's other people in this room donating money towards this cause. We create food for them, or homes. We provide food. And this is a video from the kids. And by the way, we do donations, and they would send this. We didn't ask for this. But talk about just emotional connection. And this shows you the power of video. When I saw this, in personal connection, made me want to give all the time. How can you use video in your life, have the emotional connection to raise money? They're cute, aren't they? Let's give them a round of applause. What I learned from Jeff Hoffman, the power of storytelling. He's one of the greatest storytellers I know, and that's where I really started mastermind storytelling. When he answers a question, he tells a story. When he's doing anything, speaking, whatever he does, he tells a story. He learned to master the storytelling process. That's how he raised a shit ton of money for Priceline, telling great stories, the vision of where the company would go, the films, the projects he's done. Learn how to tell the power of a story. And this is Kevin Harrington. I'll go through this. You guys saw it yesterday in my impromptu presentation that I gave. But this is a guy that I met a long time ago, became a mentor. But he started in Cincinnati, Ohio, and he was in the bar business. He literally started from nothing. His dad was a war hero, and he came home and got in the bar business, Harrington's Pub. He worked with his father in the bar business, eventually went on to become an entrepreneur himself, on Entrepreneur Magazine, created the infomercial. Literally, this guy came from nothing, like a true entrepreneur story, from nothing to riches. And he just never gave up. He kept going, went to the home show, he found products. He's taken so many products, multi-hundreds of millions of dollars, and there's more. There's always like things that he did. Any product you think of, like infomercials, he was involved in some way. He got it. He learned how to scale. He learned how to think big. Take one recording, one piece of video content. I talk about multi-purposing content. He took one piece of content and he multi-purposed it around TVs around the world and made hundreds of millions, billions of dollars it generated. And this is back in the 90s. Think about the equivalent of what that is today. He thought big. And then one day he went in a mastermind, which is power of mastermind. Kevin he has all this money, and what's he do? He spends a shit ton of money to go spend time with Richard Branson because he understands the power of investing in yourself. And Richard Branson said, you really fucked up. You build everybody else's brand, but you didn't build your own brand. And he thought, wow, I need to build my own brand. So he started writing the books. There's a book right there from Billy, Act Now, How to Turn Ideas into $1 Million Products, that she handed there. He started doing the book, doing the radio, and then Mark Burnett saw it, and then brought him on Shark Tank, original Shark on Shark Tank, and then become one of the most known brands in the world. He started from nothing. And now, as I've shown before, he's a part of my life. He's part of my dream team. This is my family. And what I learned from him, the power of a dream team, the power of a fair deal. It's got to be a fair deal. You got to have the right people around you. And if you have a dream team, you can achieve anything in business. And then the last story, the most powerful one, as you saw here today. This is my wife. She inspires me. She pushes me to become better. She's overcome many odds. And what I'm going to show you right now is an opening for her documentary, Red Flags. And as what you were hearing before, here's a small little taste of that intro of this documentary that went on to win an Emmy Award.
Women are so much stronger than people think. There's a lot behind the scenes that we go through, a lot of pain, a lot of different situations that you just never know what someone's going through. They might be fighting a fight that you don't know about. When I was 10, gymnastics was such a huge part of my life. Like, I loved the competing aspect. I loved the discipline. It just meant so much to me. It was why I woke up every day. It was all I thought about. And my parents spent so much time to get me where I was. It was like one of the things that I knew that I was going to be better than everyone else at. And I think at a young age, like, that's what you strive for. You're like, I work so hard, I want to be number one. And then I quit. I quit the one thing that I love the most in exchange for a life that almost killed me.
Red Flags. Let's give it a round of applause for that documentary. This is Samantha at 13 years old when she's addicted to drugs in Winona, Minnesota. And this is a girl that overcame drug addiction, domestic violence, and overcome some things that you could never imagine. And she kept going. She never quit. As she shared before, she never quit. In the hardest times, you must never quit. And she found fitness, running, things to focus on, to go towards something else, other opportunities. And she uses fitness to empower other people. This is her, some of her clients that she's trained. This is back when we were in Minnesota. And the impact she's making in people's lives. Look at smiles on their faces. And just, it's so inspiring to see what she's done with her story to help other people. And now today, going and filming, creating the TV show, creating Rise and Record, winning Emmy Awards, creating the best-selling book, The Road to Success, a life coach with one of the greatest life coaches in history, in my mind, Tim Story, and a part of the Rise and Record team. She is living proof that anything's possible if you never give up. Anything's possible if you never give up. And what I learned from her is only do things that align with your goals and your happiness. Only do things that align with what you want in life. And you choose you first. Choose your happiness. Choose your success, what you want and nobody else's. And when you do that, you will find fulfillment in your own life. And I'll throw back to what I started at the beginning. What does success mean to you? What is your own version of success? What are you going to do to achieve it? What is your steps after you leave here today? Are you going to make an investment in yourself? Are you going to go in the right business? You're going to move to the right city? You're going to put yourself in the right position? How are you going to achieve your success? And I'll leave on this quote. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, the mind can achieve. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, the mind can achieve. And whatever you think about the most is what you become. You first conceive it, then you believe it, then you achieve it. I want all of you to go out there, create something great, and become unforgettable, because life is too short not to. I'm Brandon T. Adams. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, guys. It means a lot.
Thank you guys for checking out my keynote at Rise and Record. And for next week, we have, well, my thoughts around becoming a shark on Shark Tank. The thought behind it, my inspiration for it, why I even want to be a shark on Shark Tank, and why I believe it's a powerful story for TV. And we'll let you guys be the ones to decide that. But tune in next week. And until next time, as always, here's to your success.